Dunkel the elf, Dunkel, our dearest Dunkel, has made another video, and he has encapsulated really well some of the thoughts regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, let's watch this by Dunkel the elf. Assassin's Creed Shadows, more flops of the culture war.
So, I'm non-binary. What does that mean?
And more importantly, why is this in the game? The culture war.
Nice. Oh god. I love how he put Shadows. Oh, that's Dustborn. That's Forspoken. I don't know what that is. Oh, is that Conquered? I think that's Conquered. Yeah. Oh no, that's Justice League. Dunkel content. Yeah. Now that's Assassin's Creed Shadows, which we have our thoughts, but
Assassin's Creed Shadows. This game has generated an unfathomable amount of rich content, probably the most we've seen in recent years by any game.
better YouTuber than this dude called James R. Basterd? Yeah, because I live stream and then I just splice the highlights and just upload it and just shit post them on my YouTube channel, basically. Dunkel actually puts effort into editing his videos. So yeah, without a doubt, leagues better than me. The only difference is that he started after that, way after I did. But this guy, if he's got what it takes. Like, his editing is, his videos are brilliant. Anyway, we missed a sentence here, so.
Any game. It was mired in controversy after controversy. I'm sure you heard several of these already. Yeah. How Yasuke was chosen to be a protagonist despite going against Assassin's Creed conventions of not using historical figures as protagonists. Or how the game is inaccurate on Japanese history, architecture, and the period in general. But I'm not here to list all of that to you. Rather, let's take a look at the bigger picture, because it really does feel like Ubisoft is at a make or break moment with this game. The company has been releasing lackluster titles one after another, such as Skull and Bones or Star Wars Outlaws. Their shares also lost 80% of...
Don't forget they also released that Avatar game that did really poorly. Only 17 studies lore characters. Oh, that's about Toho, okay.
Their value during the past 5 years. Considering all of that, Ubisoft
really
desperately needs to win. And from what we've seen so far, the game has been performing okay. It does not seem like a huge flop despite what it...
Note that currently there is no official data about the number of copies sold, and Steam charts are not fully representative of Assassin's Creed. We went through this. Like, Assassin's Creed Shadows, as of this video, peaked at 65-ish thousand players, and they said that PC activations were around 27%. We did our numbers in our video of this, but that is not what Dunkel is talking about. This is just part of the problem. Let me go back a few seconds here.
Performing okay. It does not seem like a huge flop despite what its detractors hoped for, but considering Ubisoft's situation, it's definitely not the Hail Mary that would get them out of the ditch either. Is this going to be the final nail in Ubisoft's coffin and the last Assassin's Creed game we see for a long time?
The answer was yes.
Ever? Well, with how Ubisoft has been doing financially, that might be the case.
Okay, so that poster there read, for those of you who are listening, Ubisoft creates new 4 billion subsidiary with Tencent investment. Will be responsible for Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six, their 3 biggest IPs. Is not Monster Hunter Wilds? No, and Monster Hunter Wilds is proof that of how building a franchise up really works. Capcom has done a masterclass on that, on how to build up a franchise. Capcom has also given us a masterclass on how to tear down a franchise and how to rebuild it after with Resident Evil. Ubisoft has spent the past 10 years tearing down Assassin's Creed. Each title somehow being worse than the last, in one way or another. Origins and Odyssey gave them hope, and then they fumbled it completely. And now we are seeing that, yes, at the end of the day, it did not matter how well Assassin's Creed did, which is devastating for the Assassin's Creed team and the game journals, because at the end of the day, nothing of that mattered. It was doomed. Ubisoft is doomed. And now we're getting Tencent, so...
the case. But
Black
how did
Phantom
this
and
happen?
South Heart? Oh yeah, it is.
Well, you see, Ubisoft and Shadows is the perfect case study of a studio being completely tone deaf and deciding to double down on the worst possible points.
Absolutely.
They gave so much ammunition to the rage bait content machine that it was staggering.
It
This
really
game
was.
is potentially the biggest battlefield of the video game culture war we've seen so far. I
Yeah.
wonder, were there more people wanting this game to fail than wanting to play it?
There were more people that wanted this game to fail than there are people playing it. In general. The short answer is yes. Considerably more people have wanted this game to fail, or expected at least this game to fail, than there are people that even bothered playing it. Absolutely 100%. No doubt about it.
Potentially, yes. But when a
Yeah.
game occupies this unfortunate spot, meaning it becomes a battlefield for the culture war, the drama and noise around it makes it difficult to assess it fairly.
Yeah.
Let me elaborate.
I
The
love
game
the
that
free render.
previously occupied the spot that Assassin's Creed Shadows is currently in was probably Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Dragon Age the Veilguard and Avowed shortly after. But Avowed was such a whimper in it was a game that went by in such a whimper that yes, it is Dragon Age the Veilguard. We're talking about Fumble Creed Shadows? Yes, and this is Dunkel's video on it. We're reacting to it. Yeah.
This is a game and franchise that I have plenty of personal experience with, unlike Assassin's Creed.
I am not apologizing for pausing this video. If you haven't seen Dunkel's video on Veilguard, watch it. It's his, I think it was his first video. Let me check. It was his first video, and it is insanely good. So Dunkel the Elf on YouTube, go subscribe to his channel, go check out his stuff, because his content is brilliant. His stuff is brilliant. So do watch it. Do check it out. Assassin's Creed Shadows are the trinity of Game Apocalypse. One of them, this year's trinity, or the past 6 months, because before that we had Conquered, we had Skull and Bones, because they did add a bunch of stuff of that. We had Forspoken. It's been happening for a while. All right, Baldwin, thank you for hanging out. Catch you around.
Link to my review of Veilguard in the description,
There
by
you
the
go.
way.
Go check it out. Really good.
Was Veilguard Vogue? Oh yes, very much. Was it a bad game, objectively speaking? Well, I said it was around a 6 out of 10 if you treated it as if it were in a vacuum with no expectations. However, the game became a punching bag, with many people giving it terrible reviews and hating on it due to its Vogue elements, while paying no attention to its true flaws, such as its bad dialogue and disastrous level design.
Yep.
You know how some game developers like to complain about right-wing chuds and toxic gamers? Well, these 1 out of 10 review bombings are not helping the image. Note
Assassin's Creed has not been in a 1 out of 10 game. It never has been. We discussed this in my video. A 1 out of 10 game is Right to Hell Retribution. Barely functional, absolute slop. How the hell did this even get gold? Thank God I still have my old games. Yeah, that's a good thing of gaming, that you can always go back to the good games. It's not a 10 out of 10 either. This is maybe anywhere between 5 and 7, I would say. I haven't played it, I'm not going to bother playing it. So, we're 6 to 8 respectively, yeah. 8, 7, 6, 6, 6, 6. Yeah, I would say like somewhere around. They are not, like, Black Flag was a lot of fun. I would say sort of revolutionary for its time, because of the approach to the sea, to the ocean, gameplay and everything. And then just went downhill. So, that would have counted as an 8? Yeah. Like, it wasn't a mind-blowingly good game. It was a lot of fun, though. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, an 8 out of 10. And Ubisoft has very much gone from making good, decent games to mediocre games. And that's that. Never played Bad Flag, so I can't have an opinion. It's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the best pirate games out there. So
that I'm not trying to defend these games. I acknowledge that you have the right to dislike and not play any game you want for whatever reason.
your time, your money.
It's your
Yeah.
time and your money. If any hint of potential wokeness makes the game a no-go for you, then that's your decision.
Yeah.
But it feels like we got to a point where the tiniest thing is enough to get a game labeled woke slob. We
Yeah,
saw this
and it's
with
unfortunate.
Alan Wake 2, for example, since you play half of the game as the FBI agent who was sent to investigate Alan Wake's case. And
Correction, because we just started Alan Wake 2 on the last stream. She gets sent to investigate a series of murders that turns out to be Alan Wake's case. And yes, we discussed this on the day we played this. Her character did not feel woke. Like for me, I have a standard for what I consider woke, and the standard that I have is when it feels obnoxious. It's a very weird threshold to have, but for example, the fact that they made Yasuke the playable character and not, I would have loved to see Yasuke get the Da Vinci treatment. Holy shit, that would have been fun. That would have been fun because then you have this extraordinary, very different character. But no, instead they made him look like George Floyd, and they decided to make him the main character. You can tell it's political. You can tell it has those tendrils of wokeness. And the problem, and this is the point that he's making, with all of this, just like it happened with affirmative action, now every time you see something that somewhat resembles it, you have to ask yourself, and you now have this almost Pavlovian response of, is it woke? It seems woke. The character, this girl in Saga, in Alan Wake 2, no. She just feels like a cop. Like, in my opinion, she just feels like an FBI agent. She felt like a person. She's got, like, immediately, you can already see her flaws. You can already see her character. She feels like a character. She doesn't start by demeaning her white partner. She shows respect to her partner, Alex Casey, legally distinct, not Max Payne. She shows that she's serious about her job. She has a different approach to everything, which is just to give the game like the trippy thing. But she doesn't feel. At no point do I feel condescended to by the fact that she's a black woman. So I don't consider her character woke. But you look at the characters in Concord, you look at the characters in Suicide Squad, you look at the characters in, you look at Yasuke and all that stuff, you can tell. That's my point. You can, Forspoken, the list goes on, right? You can tell when a game is woke with those elements. That's my threshold for me, if it feels politically obnoxious. If the character is done like that. Fable, yeah, all these Western studios uglifying their characters, and it just feels like an obnoxious political stance rather than an artistic decision. That's, I think, the more reasonable way of assessing whether or not something is woke, other than, oh, female, ugly, woke, which there can be a source of an element of truth to that, but it's not the case. They made Yasuke gay too. His only romance option is Fenboy. No, he has two options. He has the Fenboy, and he has the heiress to the Emperor. So yeah, he's got more than one romance option. So he either NTRs the Emperor, or the Emperor's children, not 40k, or yeah, he gets a Femboy. Yeah. The first game was also an A. This is something new and interesting. AC2, AC3 showed already a bit of a hiccup. AC2 was fun. Assassin's Creed 2 was fun. The Brotherhood was a lot of fun. Revelations, I didn't bother playing that one, so. Remember when we had ugly characters and they were made the bad guy intentionally? That used to be the case, that the unattractive ones were the unattractive characters were the bad guys, but I'm okay with the standards changing like that. The problem is now we have this almost Pavlovian response in which, yeah, if we see these, because now these are the obvious signs of this. These have become very obvious signs, which is why a lot of people now just get a lot of false positives, because a lot of games that would somewhat resemble this, where it would be a creative, artistic decision, then you have this. Because, for example, in Alan Wake, I can already see the mentality as to why the Saga is a black woman as opposed to Alan being a white man. Polar opposites. In every sense. They are polar opposites. Alan Wake is a white dude, wealthy, the most famous author. He writes, and he's a wimp, or he was a wimp in the first game, and he's a bitch about everything. And then you have Saga. She's a black woman who works at the FBI, a bit more of a boots on the ground kind of person, and she's solving mysteries, and she's got like a can-do attitude kind of thing. Complete polar opposites in every way. It makes sense narratively, it makes sense artistically, but the problem is, because it's a black woman, now you have it's woke. So Alan Wake is a heterosexual male and spineless. Yeah, and this woman has a spine. And it's not obnoxious. At least not from what we played. We played like 2 hours yesterday, and I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. At no point am I feeling politically condescended to by the existence of this character, which is not what woke developers do. The woke developers cannot help themselves but to be condescending to you politically. So woke to me is when it doesn't feel natural in the game, or if their woke themes become main focus. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Anyway, let's continue.
And as it was revealed in the first trailer, this agent is a black woman. You can guess what ensued. The game is superb, by the way. But Dunkel, you're cherry picking. Yes, that's exactly the point. While I can say that a good majority of things that get labeled as Vogue are indeed slop, I don't want great games getting dragged down with them. I've heard many people who criticize Vogueness preface or accentuate their arguments saying that games can deal with any topics as long as the execution is great, or that characters can be of any race, gender, or background as long as they are written well, feel natural, and fit the game without any overt or forced messaging attached to them. Which is very much true, but these people sure are eager to jump the gun first chance they get. At the same time, games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Baldur's Gate 3 also showed that you can have things in a game that would normally be labeled as Vogue and still have an amazing experience.
100%,
these games respect you as a player and give you the choice about how you engage with these bits.
And I think that is what differentiates a woke game from a non-woke game. The woke people are moralizing. They are just as obnoxious as the Christian right was 20 years ago. They cannot help themselves but to force you to go through it. In these games, they respect you. And I think it's a matter of now that Dunkel brings this up, it's a matter of respect. A woke developer does not respect their audience. Does not respect their audience's intelligence, which is why the Veilguard is so unbelievably bad. Because they didn't trust they didn't have the capacity to write well, and as a result, they didn't have the capacity to respect their players' intelligence with the storylines, and you are forced to engage with some of them that otherwise wouldn't be. When immutable characteristics become the end and be all, or when the whole personality is that transfer gay or something like that, 9 out of 10 is woke slop. Yeah. A good example for the game does it right is Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, he just mentioned it. Yeah. Larian showed it goes when it comes to game development and intercom communication. And before Baldur's Gate, you had the Mass Effect Dragon Age. Which, granted, I've only played Mass Effect 1, but you can romance anyone, regardless of sex, in these games. But that's the thing, you can. You don't have to. You just can. Another game from recently, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You can romance Hans as Henry. In the story, it makes sense. If you choose to partake in it, the game makes it very clear if you're romancing him. If you're romancing him, there's a special symbol in the dialogue boxes that tells you this is a romance option. It's very blatant about it. And there's the non-white characters which make 100% sense. And at no point, and usually when it comes to the black characters, you can tell if a black character is woke or not if the character comes from Wakanda. What do I mean by that? If a black character comes from Wakanda, I'm going to give you one very clear example. Hogwarts Legacy, the Nigerian girl. Or the Ugandan girl, the girl from the school in Uganda. She starts by condescending to you about how it's so weird having to use a wand because they've developed magic that is far superior, so they don't have to. And every single time you encounter this character, she is obnoxious about it because she comes from Wakanda. And that's what the woke do. Every black character that is woke comes from Wakanda. It doesn't matter if it's Marvel or not. They come from Wakanda. And they are so obnoxious about being from Wakanda. They take from the character of T'Challa's sister. You know, the genius girl that is a fucking insufferable bitch about everything. And they just translate that to whatever character they have. Same accent, same attitudes, same personality. It's all condescension. I come from a superior place, but now I'm here. Fuck you, this is such a worse place. Spoiler, in case you're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the guy in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the non-white character, the black character, he kind of has that, but not really. Because he doesn't talk about his home being better than Bohemia. He talks about, oh yeah, the food was awesome in Spain, the women were awesome in Morocco, I experienced this and this in France. Like, he's just a traveled dude. He doesn't feel like he comes from Wakanda. You can tell that this guy has experienced a lot of these things, and that's it. The thing about Baldur's Gate, the point isn't that you can have a gay romance. The focus that you have to build that relationship. It is gated behind specific gameplay. It's not forced upon you. It's 100% optional. Yes. Games are respected. Those old games respected the player's decision and interests. Yes. Funny thing is, they never had to call out what they offer. Now they rub everything into your face to show their wokeness. If they do that, you already know the game is shit. Yes, and you don't have to force it down my throat. If I'm in the mood for the content like that, I play the content, but if you force me into that content, you can go suck a big fat banana. You can go suck a cactus, I think would be a better expression. But the thing is that the woke, just like the moralizing hyper-Christian right, just like the previous people before that, just like the hippies before that, like the communists before that, like the fascists before that, like every single moral busybody group before that, they cannot help themselves. They have to preach to you. They have to moralize to you. It is necessary for them because it is their obligation. That's how they see it. So, well, deep throat this fact isn't like, I know, right? All right, let's finish this video. It's got 2 minutes left. So.
Or if you engage with them at all. They are not preachy and are executed amazingly well. For most people, wokeness does not ruin an otherwise great game. They wouldn't even call it woke if they went into it blind. But once the drama is started, the preconceptions that the label brings with it might actually make them not even check it out. Another aspect of this that's been getting the most out of hand in my opinion is the complaint about the uglification of female characters and pushing for Eastern-style gorgeous character models in every game. Again, I'm not knocking games like Stellar Blade or Nier Automata for having these types of characters. And I'm not saying uglification doesn't happen, it certainly does, but the complaints have reached unreasonable levels in my opinion. How the characters in the Silent Hill 2 remake were supposedly uglified, for example.
They were. She was. Because the end model ended up being skinnier. Because they made her fat. Like, they made her fat ugly. Then they just made her look like overgrown child, ugly-ish. Granted, you can see it in the image, in the previous image. She used to look like she had like 17 plastic surgeries. And then they just make her look like she's just a troubled individual. So, yeah, they do uglify her a little bit. But the original model was just fat ugly. Then they just made her like this, which this fit so well to me. I didn't play the original, I played the remake. But yeah.
5,
Yeah.
for example.
Get
Or
on
the
chill
recent
because
Witcher 4
Texas video.
trailer where people were screeching about Ciri being ugly.
Oh,
I
yeah, The
swear,
Witcher.
it's like nowadays if a female character isn't complete gooner bait, then she gets labeled as uglified and woke. And I know some people meme about how awesome it would be to have only bimbo characters, but I can't say that. What are you wearing?
She's wearing a
No, you're not illustrating the point, and I wasn't rambling.
incoherent elf speech.
Yeah, go change. So, I can say that the overall developments have been positive.
Oh,
Gamers
fucking-
in general are winning. The slop is flopping and Ubisoft is
Cringe
Ubisoft.
cut. Oh yeah.
But the whole tone of this shift does make me a bit wary and cautious though. I'm more of a narrative-oriented gamer and
Yes, he
our
is.
type is more at the mercy of these trends than others. It's
Absolutely.
harder to make a game woke that is solely focused on gameplay, for example. But enough of that, I don't want them to perceive this as a challenge. Thanks
you
for
go.
hearing out my concerns and thanks for watching.
There you go.
Yes, I was rambling. Thank you.
All right, and there you go. That was that was Dunkel's Assassin's Creed Shadows More Flops of the Culture War video. Such a good video. Like Dunkel is a film buff, so he knows everything about timing and all this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, the other like I already give it a like. I had already given it a like, but here I'm putting the link on the chats. Because definitely go subscribe to him. Go check out his stuff. He needs his schizo meds. Yeah, no, Dunkel is obsessed with free red. If you couldn't tell. So yeah, you still have to talk to Dunkel. Yeah, there you go. But that's for your stuff. Yeah, I agree with him. And right now we are going to start seeing the overcorrection. So we're gonna start seeing the anti-woke unwoke kind of thing. Because yes, he brought up Ciri from the Witcher 4 trailer, which, if you remember the Witcher 3 trailer, how Geralt looked compared to the final game, very different, and I think something similar is happening here. I didn't find Ciri ugly in the trailer either. Like, she just looked a little bit more chubby than in the previous game, and I don't care. So, that sounds like a hell of a good time. Oh, it is. It is. It really is. That's why I do it. So yeah, there you go. That was Dunkel's video. Go subscribe to his channel. Really, really good making these points. It's a 7-minute video. Like we made it longer because we're reacting to it, but this was just a really well put together video. I just hope that Dunkel goes viral with one of these because he deserves it. He puts so much work into these videos. So yeah, Ciri is not ugly in the trailer, but a bit more average than previous titles. Maybe only because of lightning camera movement. I think it was that. Yeah, like I didn't find her ugly. I didn't. Like, she's still very pretty. She just looks like trailer version of these, which we know look different from the final game. That's what CDPR does. So anyway, I'm just gonna go on a quick break, and then we're gonna boot up Final Fantasy VII, the original. So they made her faces a bit more masculine, to be honest. She still looked good, in my opinion, so that's that. So anyway, I'll be right back. I just need to use the bathroom. So yeah, good video, amazing video. Go check it out if you haven't already, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.